welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be talking over some coffee about our livestock dog Bentley right here.
Taller than you.
He's so much taller than me, it's crazy. He's huge now. He was so little in some of the clips that we would just quickly watch back the last video to see where we left off telling you about, and he's gotten so much bigger.
He was little.
He was fuzzy too.
Yeah.
Like, he's not fuzzy anymore. The reason he was so fuzzy was because he was actually outdoors all the time. I think we talked briefly about the fact that he was having barking problems, so we were leaving him out, and he was not only running away to chase coyotes, but he was also barking, and our neighbor started to complain and was just like, dude, your dog's barking way too much. Understandable. Agreed. He was keeping us up.
Yeah.
And so we tried tethering him to keep him here and barking, but then he started just biting the collar and forming all these bad habits, so we kept him as an indoor dog, which is how he is now, a domestic dog as we call him.
He's a DD.
Yeah, and he stays inside all the time. Except during the day, obviously. He's just more like a domestic dog. And if you can't tell from the background, we got another thing to try to help with some of his problems. Her name is Hunter, and she is a full German Shepherd, short-haired.
Alright, so I think in the last video we told you guys that on the first day that we got Bentley, he ate a chicken. I think that was in the last video. Well, now that he's a year and a half, he's much better around the chickens. I don't want to say we trust him fully, because when Hunter over here decides to chase the chickens for fun, Bentley will totally participate, and we don't like that because he knows better. But for the most part, he is totally cool around the chickens. We had baby chicks about 7 months ago, and he would lay down near them and they would crawl over him and kind of jump on him and stuff. Like, he was really good with them. It's recently that he started chasing him with the puppy, but he's not there. They don't hurt him. They're not like trying to be evil. They just are doing it for fun. It's a game to them. So that's the only reason we don't trust him fully. But he's a lot better with the chickens. Also, the baby goats. He is incredibly gentle with the baby goats. He's really sweet. He understands that if he moves too fast, he scares them, so he lays down a lot so that they come to him. But they're really good friends. They hang out all the time. He's coming back. That's cute.
So,
yeah.
We were keeping Bentley outside freely in our pasture, and he started jumping the fences, which I think we kind of touched on briefly. But it progressed to the point where he was going to certain houses, and we had, like I said, we had a shock collar for him, and one day he was out at night and didn't listen when we called him with the shock collar, and he went to my parents' property, and then from there he's out of range, and they had neighborhood dogs before we got, this all happened before we got Hunter. And he started going over to one of the neighbors' houses that had female dogs and pawing on their back door at night to play with the dogs, and just lingering around that property as well as the neighboring property, because they had llamas and sheep and just different animals that we don't have on the farm that I think fascinated him, so he would go over there to protect them. And he was very skittish of humans, which is the main difference with him. I think people get really sketched out because he's not the type of dog where you go, oh, you're missing on my property, hi, come here. He runs away, or he'll just stay far enough back to where you can't reach him. And I'm pretty sure one of our neighbors started firing shots at him. Not the point, but we'll get there. The neighbor that I was talking about before that he scratches on their door, they actually gave us back recently the shock collar that we lost, because I think it must have gotten snagged on their fence and they recently found it. So we have 2 shock collars. We don't use either of them anymore because he's a pretty good boy, and it's been nice having Hunter because he learns come by her performing come. So he had to be on tether for a long time while she was out free. And I think he gradually started to realize that she's given more freedoms, because when I tell her to come to me, she always comes with no issues, whereas Bentley was a little bit harder with the come. He would get defiant and run away, and that was where it really became a tether issue of, if you're not going to listen, then you have to be on a tether, 'cause I can't trust you to listen. But recently he jumped into the neighbor's yard, and I looked at him and went, Bentley, what are you doing? Come here. Sorry, B. Good boy. You're being a good boy. And he went pee, turned around and jumped the fence and came back. And I was like, whoa, that's never happened before. Every time he runs away for good, like to go explore.
For hours.
And so it was crazy, but we have also had an issue like on Christmas Eve, he jumped into this neighbor's fence on the back end of the pasture and chased their dogs all the way to their house, and she had to chase him off of her property with her raptor on Christmas. Actually, it wasn't Christmas Eve, it was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing, and it was not fun, and I was in a Christmas onesie, so I was not very happy. But it was what it was, but we haven't had many issues. I'm pretty much just highlighting the main issues that we've had. But he's also been really good. We're able to leave him out there with Hunter without a tether on now, and he'll just run with her and play. And she keeps him grounded and entertained, and it's nice.
For sure.
So then quickly touching on the story I talked about before with the neighbor who I believe was shooting at Bentley. Basically, he has a big pasture, lots of animals, different types that we don't have, like I was saying. And I think I know why. I've talked to him. He gets irritated because his dogs have to be inside because they run away as well. So he has them in a gated, like, little back area, like one of those little things you put out your door.
Like a dog run type thing.
Yeah, that's it. And they get really upset that Bentley's in their backyard peeing on their stuff, and they get, like, super upset. Understandable, make a lot of noise. Yeah. He does it at like 10 p.m. It was out of hand bad. Like, I was feeling so guilty and just like, this is horrible. And so then we got it under control, and it wasn't happening often. It was happening like once a month. So I think it was back in November, he got away randomly, and he went to the neighbor's yard, and they called the police like because it was during the day. I think the sheriff showed up around 4:45. I shouldn't say a sheriff, the animal control. But we got a notice for him. But I guess luckily they ended up going to my parents' property because the neighbor doesn't actually know where I live, even though I've talked to him and told him, hey, if you have problems, come to my house or we can exchange phone numbers. And he's just been like, no, I don't want to do that. And so we haven't done that. But he doesn't know where we live, but he knows where my mom's property is and what the address is because he drives by it. And so he reported it to her house. And basically then my cousin answered, who lives there, and said, oh, well, okay, that dog doesn't live here, but I'll let my cousin know, and then let me know. And then I just didn't call her, and we haven't dealt with it. We've just left it up as Bentley's bad report card, and we haven't had him run away since, I don't think.
It's been like eight weeks.
It's March now, and it was November then, so it's been a couple of months.
9 weeks.
But yeah, so that's really exciting to have him staying here, and we haven't had problems. He stays in the house at night. He only goes out for potty and play and all that, but he's not just freely out, except for he is allowed to be on his porch swing without tether sometimes because he's a good boy and he just sleeps on his tether.
Very often, like at
more
least
than
once
with tether
a day.
now.
Yeah.
We've really gotten him to a point where I think he's off the tether more than on the tether, which is really where we want to be. So that's good. And then we're also wanting to put a fence over here, and the good part about that is that it will make it so Bentley can't jump, and then he can be out there at night if he wants. We have a dog door over here, so it's perfect because he can use the dog door and let himself in and out at night, and we won't have any problems. So that's really exciting. That's the goal. And then Bentley can be a free man.
Be a free man.
And hopefully not bark, because that would be the next thing, is if we put up the fence and then he's barking at night. Whew! Girl. Please, no.
Then we'll have to make another adjustment. He's done
maybe back to
a
the
lot
shock
of
collar.
those for us.
He's so funny.
He's like, I gotta go potty.
We haven't had any chickens lost since we got Bentley. I think for the most part, maybe we've had one or two. I honestly think it's more of a keel over situation. But we also have to shut.
It was that one that got eaten and left in the pasture. We had a chicken that was killed. It was missing its whole front, breast area and stuff.
Without further ado, thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos about Bentley and Hunter and all of the farm shenanigans. I think that's all I have to say, right?
Yeah.
And then when in doubt, love it out. And we'll see you next time. Bye. It's like, fuck this. Hunter, I'm fucking up your shoe. Let's go.
I swear, it's been half an hour longer than it's supposed to be. I got shit.